Last time we were here, we were just getting started framing. I think the foundation was getting done. Fast forward 2 months later, all the windows are in on the addition side of the house. All the framing is done. We are ready to start siding. Well, by the end of the day, we'll be ready to start siding. We were supposed to start siding today, but you know, we'll just blame it on the Strait of Hormuz. The material's not here yet. We'll start next Monday. It's not that big of a deal. We quickly pivoted. We ordered concrete. We got concrete coming at noon today for the front patio that we ripped out and reformed. We used to have the whole porch that connected to that house that will reconnect in a smaller fashion. All this porch area over here needs to get integrated or reframed with this new porch. And then we have the actual patio that has to go in. So right now we're just focused on the underside, which is like the base layer of concrete. And then we're wet laying the Langhorn stone, which we have everywhere else. And we're also doing that on the back patio behind the house as well. So we're staying consistent throughout. You can kind of tell we had a house plaque, like a family plaque, 1836. And then we had a window up there in the attic that got stone shut since the last time everybody was here. We also ripped out this one window. All the windows on the stone house are getting replaced eventually. I say eventually because we just have to keep going back and forth on designs, colors. Do we do white windows? Do we do tan windows to match the siding? Some of those things are holding us up right now, which is fine. It's construction. You can't rush people to make decisions on a house that is like their forever project, or maybe they waited 50 years to do it. Who knows? So we like to give people the time. Might not look like a lot, but in the next week or so, when the siding goes on, this house is going to look finished on the outside. We're in like prime growing season, and getting this house done at a specific time during the summer for a wedding that's happening at this property. So all the landscaping is a huge concern right now, which usually we wait until the very end of the project to do because that's what makes sense. Now we're trying to get all the landscaping done on the outside, like the patios and everything like that, done at the same time as siding so that we can plant grass, trees, bushes, shrubs, and make this place look as beautiful as the rest of the areas that are all grown in and everything have been here since George Washington lived here. The patio over there is not getting redone. They don't want to do it. You can't make people redo everything. And when you have something as old as this, you don't necessarily always want to redo everything. It's a balance of blending old with the new. And if you rip it all out, it might not feel the same. And people buy these houses because they feel a certain type of way. It might not be perfect. So if you're looking for perfect, go buy brother's house. You know who I said, brothers. I'm just gonna start like throwing them in there, not knowing when Gilmar won't know when to beep it out. So this is all going to look similar to what the newer patios over here, but we're blending it all in. If you can see over there, we chipped out some of the stones that were kind of like, I guess you could compare them to loose teeth. You pull them out and you put in fake ones. You know, we're putting the stones back in, but they needed to get resealed back up and everything like that. So that's what we're focusing on. Since the siding is slightly delayed, we kind of had a backup plan. I'm not gonna say like this was all like some fast moving, you know, race solved, cut the dragon's head off kind of a thing. It was, if the siding doesn't get here when we expect it to be here, boom, patios. And that's what we're doing. We also have two really important footings in there that we need to pour today in order for us to frame. So it was one of those situations that you like kind of take a step forward. It was country music dancing, kind of. It like doesn't make any sense to people that actually know how to dance, right? So you got to step forward, a step sideways, a step back. Like we don't want to do the patio until the siding's done, but we have to do part of the patio so that we can build the house to do the siding construction. Those two footings right there, the top of the sono tubes. The sono tube is a piece of cardboard that we get charged a lot of money for to hold the concrete in a perfect circle. But up there's Chase. But up where Chase is standing is a new porch roof. You can't really see it right now. We can look at the plans inside and you'll see it. It's not crazy sophisticated or anything like that. It just comes across from this house straight across and connects beam across two posts, and then the roof gets framed in the way it was previously. We had to pull it off because the old one was attached to the old house, which we had to take apart to build this house. So everything's going really great. I think probably the highlight of what's going on right now is the front door from Paramount Wood Company. Let's come with me, Gilmar. Caution, no entrada, no enter here. Entrada. So what we have here, walnut door. It's beautiful. It fits like a glove. There's not a whole lot of like words to use. It's a really nice door. It's made out of walnut. It features a black hardware, matte hardware from Knobs and Knockers in Peddler's Village. Shout out. I'll be honest with you, really nice hardware, but doesn't necessarily work the best. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We're trying to figure that out as well. So like you look at a door like that and you're like, oh yeah, wow, look, they get to put the cool walnut door in. Everything's so great there. It's not. We're dealing with a miserable situation with 2 walnut doors regarding the hardware. It's brand new hardware. I think it's just over-engineered and it's causing us some frustration. But once we get it fine-tuned, and by we, I mean our Maverick Chase.
Welcome to Telegraph Road.
Once he gets it fine-tuned, we'll probably not be worrying about it anymore. But right now, that is top of mind. We have a situation in this house, though, Gilmar. We don't have stairs. You're gonna have to go up the ladder. This is the other side of the walnut door. It's not super bright in here, but the thing's gorgeous. We put all that tape up. We'll probably wrap this in plastic and some plywood because you just got to make it so nobody can go in and out of it for obvious reasons. I don't need to overstate. All right, follow me. That was an elevator shaft. If you are going to plan on living in your home until the very end, kind of makes sense to put an elevator in there if there's enough space. There is a main staircase in the old stone part of the house, which we still have to open up to get into there. We're gonna do a nice arched opening there, and you'll be able to get up and down the stairs on the main house, come over here to what is the master suite. 2 closets and then master bathroom over there. And we're standing over top of the mudroom, laundry room, and the front foyer of the house. But we got a lot of things going on in this house. Prepping for radiators. Right now we're wrapping up all of our rough-ins, including electricity this week. So we have floor heat underneath us. We also have radiators going in underneath the windows because older house, older feel, a preference for radiators. All 3 of those things came together. We're gonna keep the radiators because it kind of just fits with the style, to be honest. Once you start pulling that out, you lose, like if you have like this beautiful old stone house and you come over to like the new part and it doesn't quite match up, purists wouldn't like that. This whole wall right here is not level at all, or plumb rather. If you look at like the gap or like at the framing, like all of these studs are perfectly straight the way they should be. And then this last stud here is not at a 90-degree angle, way more acute. So we're going around this week on the outside right before the siding guys come, and we're sealing all those areas and flashing them in preparation. This right here is on the inside the closet wall. It'll be accessible from the inside, so like behind all the shirts and everything, there'll be an access panel. But these are the manifolds for the floor heat. So all the pipes that you can see in the ceiling in the first floor, second floor, but first floor ceiling, you can see all the pipes that are running through. That's heating the floor from beneath us, radiant floor heat. Floor goes over top of that. You have to be really cautious once that piping goes in to make sure you don't shoot any nails through it. If you're moving studs and things around, ask us how we know. Chase, just saying, Chase. So radiators, floor heat manifold over here, and then just your typical master suite layout. We got a freestanding tub, double-sided vanity, freestanding toilet room, shower with the niche, 2 walk-in closets. It's pretty standard going on right now. There's not a whole lot to show you up here other than like just the beautiful accuracy of the electrical rough-in. I mean, if you didn't notice the framing, we'll get a couple close-up shots. The framing on the project came out just perfectly. All the cuts, everything really, really tight. Sometimes you meet framers that just don't work as precisely as they could or as you want them to, which is understandable. It's like rough framing. You can kind of tolerate a little bit, but once you find a framer that's as locked in as Carlos, you don't want to ever move on from that. We got the niche that's not framed in yet, but it's going in the little half wall right there. So when you're sitting in the bench, you can kind of just access all your shampoos and stuff like that. We have normal shower heads on both sides. rain head over top, and a handheld. So you'll definitely be getting wet. Sometimes it's a little luxurious to do those all. You got to make sure you run the right size, feed all the water to a bathroom that is using that much volume, especially if you plan on turning everything on all at the same time. If you don't do it properly, if you turn one thing on and then a second thing on and then a third thing on, like all the water pressure just drops, and then you're like, why did I even spend this extra money? So if you're gonna do something like that, you gotta make sure you upsize your pipes. And then probably if you have a well, you're gonna wanna do like a constant pressure pump or something in addition to that to just give the rest of your house the added pressure you're gonna want when you have that much demand of water. Something's up.
What do you think is the best offer they've seen? I say $3,000 on the windows.
10% off this weekend only at Wayrings. I'm just gonna buy everything for the whole year, and they're gonna be pissed. Buy just $750,000 worth of building supplies at 10% off. $75,000. That's a brand new car.
Just get pallets of
Ooh, bro. Don't make mistakes like that, building suppliers.
Don't lose your nut.
Yeah, don't lose that extra 10% and go out of business. Old house, new house. What the heck just happened?
Ghosts. Ghosts.
Dude, ghosts. This is the old dining room. It's gonna stay a dining room. That's not much to it. We have this whole ceiling opened up. We're gonna be re-plumbing, doing the bathrooms on that side. Once we get a little bit more of a, a little closer in scope on here, we'll catch the two scopes up to one another, and then we'll finish the whole house out together, except for probably the windows upstairs. We can get to the basement through this door. We can also go through the Bilko steps outside. We have the beautiful sunroom, and then the old house family room, which we're starting to remove the floors. We were originally gonna leave the floors, but it just wasn't gonna work. It would have worked, but it just wasn't gonna, like, for how much money and energy and everything that we're spending on the rest of the house, just like patching these floors together was a disservice. We have new windows throughout, new door, fireplace is staying where it's at, and we're just gonna pipe it up through the roof instead of out of the back of the house, because now we have this massive patio out here. I guess we'll just take the party out. Watch your step. So we're on this beautiful patio. We can see the rest of the house. We're doing lights in all the soffits. Obviously got cameras up top there. That hole in the side of the house. We've got bathroom vents, makeup air, the exhaust for the kitchen hood going out of the roof so that we don't have some massive vent blowing air out of the rest of the house. Because no matter where you walk on the outside of this house, like, it's gonna be either gardens, or some sort of patio, and the only best option is, in my opinion, is always just to go straight up through the roof if you can. When you're doing a remodel, like if you're doing just a kitchen, it's kind of hard to do that. Unless you're totally okay with your contractor just blasting a hole through something in the second floor and then through a closet. It doesn't always make sense, but that's what is best. We're using a kitchen hood that's inline blower. The kitchen hood that's in the kitchen will be really quiet because the fan itself is all the way up in the attic. It's so powerful, it's sucking the air up, but you don't have to hear the fan and the motor going. A lot of what that noise is like the actual fan spinning or the motor that drives that fan, particularly if you have some massive unit, an absolute unit of a kitchen hood, like 1,000 plus CFMs. You don't want to hear that. Put it up in the attic. Ask your builder to put it up in the attic. Pipe it up there. You'll still have the same amount of pressure taking all the heat and smoke off of your range, but it'll be a lot quieter in your kitchen and it won't sound like you're, getting on a Spirit Airlines flight. R.I.P. All right, R.I.P. Spirit. Some say it was their core values. We don't know. Have you ever flown Spirit Airlines? I've never flown. I don't think I've ever flown Spirit.
It was okay. It was just tight.
The Greyhound of the skies. That's what I heard. I think I was on a Greyhound bus one time for like a school trip to Washington, D.C. Shout out Will Smith, CD player, blacked out. Like I just fell asleep. I woke up in Washington, D.C. I probably listened to that Will Smith album on like repeat. I probably was like sleeping like with my like headphones on when I was like 12 years old. Just boom, 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 Fresh Print. Like, we're going back to Miami. What was that song? On that same trip, I kid you not, we might be getting really off topic here. I got a Puff Daddy CB. Like, I guess we were like at like a commercial, a mall or something in Washington, D.C. I don't know what, they've lost track of us. Went to Sam Goody, got a CD, parental advisory. Mom was like, how bad could it be? We returned that CD. Let's just say that much. But I got one later in life. When I was like 18, I went out and bought one out of principle. All this needs to get regraded out here. So what we're standing on, the concrete, if you look closely at the concrete, it looks...
I knew it was nearby, dude.
Watch that pipe, Gilmar. If you look at the concrete, it's a little rough looking. This isn't like finished concrete. This is what we will wet lay all of the stone on. So this is actually, even if you look at our doors, like if you were a small child, you'd have to like get a ladder to get up in these doors because they have to come up another 2 or so inches in order to catch the pitch and everything. It slopes down this way. We'll add another layer of the finished stone, and then you'll be even higher up off of this dirt over here. So all this soil will have to be brought up. Anything less than 2 feet, you really don't need a railing, but you do need a step. So we're gonna put one fat, big stone for a step over here on top of concrete footing. And then all of this will be graded up, and then there will be planters all the way around. So all this will be super private. Not that it isn't, you know, anywhere else here in the wilderness. Farm country. So that's what we got going on over here. The waste pipe is the only utility that's not backfilled yet. They're working on that right now, just connecting the old house plumbing to the all new plumbing pipes throughout the entire house, which is pretty awesome when you're working on an old stone house. There's a pipe that is the old pipe that has to get cut. New pipe gets or is already connected and just gets capped up, and then we can backfill this. So we're jumping on everything we can since the siding's not happening. Every little thing that we can do that we were gonna do after while they were here, we're gonna take care of so that next Monday when they show up, like the ground is all ready to go. It's easier for them to side. Just little extra things. You never wait. I forget what the quote is, but it's like, a warrior never wastes time. He uses it, or something like that. So whenever something happens that a lot of other companies would just stop for the week and just be like, oh, well, siding will be here next week. Like, no, we always hammer, even if it's a little inconvenient. For instance, not like this is a pretty big job, but it's not really that big. And we currently have 2 plumbers here, 2 HVAC contractors, an electrician, a carpenter, 3 concrete guys, all working in the same place. So everything is getting worked on as fast and as efficiently as possible. We stack people on top of each other because that's what it takes to do projects like this in the time frame that we do them. It can always take longer, but like, should it take longer is the question. The only other thing that is going on out back here is if you kind of look at like the stonework up top there, the pointing looks like Stevie Wonder did it. It's because he did. We are pulling all that pointing out, redoing all that to match the pointing that you can kind of see on the rest of the house. It's like this raised edge. This is just really rocky soil here. It is what it is. That's how you were able to build houses like this in the early 1800s. Just dug up the rocks in the ground and build a house. Kind of wild. You just use the materials you have in front of you. You just use it. You just play the hand you're dealt, you know? That's what they were doing. Thomas Jefferson or whoever settled this property, I mean, George Washington, came out here and he was like, yeah, you know, revolution's over. I'm gonna play the cards I'm dealt and dig up these rocks and build this house. Back to the point, but we're cleaning all the rocks up off the top. We still have to obviously bring in fresh soil, but the soil we have here is really good. It's just filled with rocks. So we're going through any sort of excess concrete that we had slopped off, got scraped up, all the big rocks and everything. He's just scooping it up, kind of like raking it if you would to do it by hand. And then that'll make it easier for us to plant grass and then actually like have a good lawn. If you look out into like the field right here, like all that grass is gorgeous. If you tried to dig it up, you'd find rocks. So we do our best to just a couple inches off the top, have a nice clean cut, and then fresh topsoil on top of that. And then it'll just make for a better plant life, better grass. Oh, the big dog? How could we not talk about that? It's not the biggest window we've ever done, but anytime it's that big, it doesn't matter if you've done a bigger one before. It's always stressful. That's 2 separate window units. So the bottom 4 windows came as one piece from Anderson, which is also kind of rare. We requested that just because we felt it would make a better finished product installed in terms of like weather and everything like that. They will deliver that to you, all single windows, and make you put it together if you're not paying attention to the order. The top window, same deal. That top window, the curved or the arch rather, came as one piece, and then that window is fixed. It comes with hardware. You clamp it and screw it all together, seal it, to make sure that it's weather tight. But that window, the rough opening for that is, I believe, like 120 inches by 120 inches tall. All right, that's 10 feet in both directions. Now, when you're all said and done, you're a little less than that. The finished window, I believe, is 118 3/4 wide. Ask me how I know. Same thing with the top. It's perfectly square, so then they just take the arch out of there. We probably spec'd this window with the customer 5 or 6 different ways. And each time, like, our rep sends us like how the window is gonna look and like the grids, and then how should we do more grids, less grids, like how do those grids over there match up to these grids over here? Because when you make a bigger window and you're still following like that 8 pane, like it's bigger pane, so then it might look ridiculous compared to a smaller window that's still 8 pane. So you got to be careful with the grids. You don't want to have like a tennis court for a window. I can't believe I said that. If anybody understands what I'm saying, it's like you don't want all these like little cubes all over the place. You want it to look natural. The way we settled on, I think, is the right amount. It looks beautiful. Wilmer's the boss. I can't believe I'm like showing you guys this area of the house right now because it is absolute disaster down here. In my personal opinion, it is so messy that we're just gonna be truthful about it. So what we do in projects like this, it costs a few dollars, but we Tyvek the entire floor, right? Underneath me, like if you look down at the floor right now, it's so muddy, right? But that's Tyvek house wrap. It's near impenetrable. So when we're done roughing in the house and we're done tracking mud in and out of here in a couple of weeks, we'll pull up all this Tyvek, sweep up, and the concrete will be fresh. So the only reason I'm agreeing to showing to everyone down here the mess is because I know when we roll out a video, the next video or 4 or 5 videos from now, we're all gonna look at it and be like, damn, that's the same room. So that's what we got. We have a couple bags of insulation that's left over from somewhere in here that we were in the middle of the winter time when we were doing demo. We were trying to seal the house up. We also have 2-inch closed cell foam wrapping the entire perimeter of the outside wall, framing, and then plywood over top so that we can mount all of our utilities and everything like that. So in the old stone house is our boiler. It's massive. Nobody really wants to move it, nor does it really need to be moved. So we're leaving the boiler where it is, and then we are rather working with that location, plumbing everything in from there. And then we have the PEX manifold. That's not like a true PEX manifold. It's custom built. It's copper into PEX. This is the way to do it, in my opinion. This is why we do it this way. The copper is just, the plastic PEX manifolds, there's just something about them that, like, personally, I just can't get behind. Something about plastic and that much pressure and then the water coming in. Like, I really just think like a copper manifold like this is way hardier, provide a better product. So we have the manifold, we have the floor heat manifold for the first floor, right over there. And if you look up in the ceiling, when you do a PEX manifold like this, you have to run pipes to every location. If you don't, so it is added cost. Like, don't think you're gonna ask your builder, hey, I want a PEX manifold. I hope you can hear me. All right, so you have to run. So when you do a PEX manifold, it's more money because obviously it's more material, but it is also more work. You have to run hot and cold to every location that you want to be able to shut off from here. He just did a couple extra ones. So right here we have the elevator shaft. It's not like your typical Otis commercial apartment building elevator. It is a residential style one. So it does mount to the wood framing. This blocking in the back here is like what the actual hydraulic mounts to. It's all electric. The controls sit on the outside of the elevator here, wire up to the lift that's mounted continuously from the ground all the way up to the second floor. And so you'll be able to like move furniture and things or bring stuff up and down from the basement a little bit easier. But mainly it's just an accessibility thing long term. Personally, I don't think these customers will really use the elevator until they get to that point in life where it's just necessary. Going down the entire length of the basement, we're right now connecting the waste pipe from the stone house to the new waste pipe. It's all plumbed out the back wall right there. And then we have the HVAC system that's going to get mounted over there. All of our duct is in, the floor heat is in above us. That is the aluminum channel with the clear pipe. And then we have all of the hot and cold lines. This black pipe right here is the radiators. We try and keep everything like as clean as possible in terms of rough-ins. So when you look straight down here, like everything is running like straight and down. We like to work with people that like what they do, want to work organized, keep our site organized, because it's just a part of our brand. You know that we're caring about your project more because of just like the little things that we're doing with just like the quality details. I get criticisms all the time that like, well, why would you spend the extra money on this? Or why would you spend the extra money on that? We don't just waste it. If it's not gonna make a better product, we don't do it. But all these like little fine little steps that we take, it just adds up. A big one for us is if you look at the floor heat, normally this blocking up here, like this blocking right here, would go all the way up to the floor. But because we knew the floor heat was going in, this was held down so that they could run the pipe straight through, because the floor heat is like a continuous loop. It's not like, it is a continuous loop. So wherever it starts from, it pipes all the way around the basement continuously and then returns back to where it is. It's really important that there are no kinks in line or anything that prevent the lines from moving the hot water as efficiently as possible. Another things that we had to like rough in for is our radon. So we have radon pipe in the ground. We have a drain in the bottom of the elevator that also drains over to our sump pump in the corner. That's Chuck. He's the best. He's been plumbing since George Washington built this house. Crazy electrical things going in over here. I don't even know if we'll get into it, but the electrical pole comes into the barn. All of our electric is underground. We have a transfer switch by code on the outside of the house, shut off, like a quick disconnect, or not a transfer switch, it's a quick disconnect. And then that comes in through this conduit here, powers everything up. We have Sean on site here. He's one of the best. Yeah, so that's carbon steel. We've done enough videos on steel beams that we don't need to really get up into the business of this beam right now. Know that it's holding the house up. I think this beam is 12, 10, 10. We got 48 plus 9, so 56. Yeah, it's a lot of metal. What's cool about the beam location is we're doing a massive island, double thick, and the island's just huge. And the island, you have to worry about where the island sits in terms of like your floor framing, because if it's, say the island sat in between this and that wall, like you could get a little springiness depending on how big or how much it weighed. But the island, the center of the island is sitting across this whole beam. So no better scenario than that. Like that floor is rock hard up there, which is a great thing. Does that not sound like somebody's like just jumping up and down on a ladder? Well, this guy's using a pogo stick to go up the ladder. So if you come over here, I just wanted to test and make sure I wasn't lying to everybody about the floor being clean. So when I came over here, we made sure to check before we started recording in case it was dirty. We just wouldn't have filmed this. So if you pull it up, like that's how clean the floor is underneath our Tyvek. And when you're doing a project like the mud all around the house, there's just nothing you can do. And if you put ram board down here, it's just gonna get destroyed and wet and everything like that. Take pride in your job site. Like this is the way to go. All this dirt would just be getting grinded into the concrete, and then the concrete would just not look new anymore, and there's just no way to get it clean. So it's just like little steps like this that just show you care.